In this video, I'm going to show you how the REIFlow import tool works. So if we go to your REIFlow members dashboard, along here you'll click on imports. So what we have to do here is create an import form. You can customize an import form that meets the requirements of your lead list, and then use that input form to upload and import your leads into REIFlow. So the first thing you want to do is come to the Imports tab and click Add Import App. So bring you up a form, we'll give it a name, and then we'll select the fields from REIFlow from the Leads app, Contacts, Properties, and Property Details app. So any field from any of these you can use in your import app and then import into. So let's take a look at my lead sheet. You can see here I have an address field, first name, last name, marketing source, bedrooms, and bathrooms. So now I want to customize my import to match these fields. So we'll add the in the properties, we'll get the property address. We have an option of all these fields, but this one will take the address. For the details, we will take the bedrooms, bathrooms. Now in the contacts, we need the first name and last name. And finally, on the leads, from the Leads app, we need the marketing source. Add that. So now these are the fields that I want to import. Now to finish this off, I want to create app by clicking this button. So what this does is it creates a new app in REIFlow in your Podio Workspace that has these fields in it. And within that app, you can use the Podio import tool to import your lead list sheet into that app. And let me show you the app that gets created. We have to refresh this. And you see it here, import leads. If we add item, you can see the fields. So we have the address, bedrooms, first name, last name, marketing source, all ready for import. Now one way you can do it is come to the app, hit the wrench, and go to Excel import and do it that way. Or alternatively, you can just click right here, import records, which will bring you to that import tool directly. And we can choose the Excel file. I have it over here off the screen. I'll just drag it in. Now Podio is examining the Excel file and pulling in the records. So next step is to assign the fields from the Excel file to the fields on your Podio app. Click Next. Depending on how many leads you have, this could take a while because it's pulling it all in, examining, making sure everything's okay. And now in this screen, it's going to ask you for a primary key, which basically is the identifier for the lead that you pull in. It usually tries to pick a number. Since REIFlow, once it starts importing, will try to match the address to existing addresses in the system to see if it's a duplicate. You don't need to select any primary keys here unless you want to pre-screen them on some category or some criteria of your own doing. Then you can pick that here, but I'll clear all the keys off. So now I have 40 records. Let's import those. Now what this is doing, this first step is we're importing all the records into this Import Leads app. So what's happening here is you're importing records into this Import Leads app, and then REIFlow detects those imports, each record, and stores that into a database field. I do this because I have to throttle the the actual importing into REIFlow, because Podio limits the number of actions or creates that I can make into the system. So in order to make sure we don't run out of flows per hour or actions per hour, I throttle it to about 150 every 10 minutes. And this occurs for everybody. So you actually, if 10 people are trying to import records at the same time, then first come, first serve in that regard. So you might be at the end of that line and then have to wait your turn for your records to be imported. Now to counteract this, because sometimes you just want to import a small amount of records, say 10, I provision the system to take the first 10 records of any import file and call them priority, and those get bumped to the front of the line and will be imported within the next 10 minutes. So now Podio said that those 40 leads have been imported into here. So here are those 40 leads. Let's get a different view, table view, so we can see them. So there's 40. And now, basically, you just have to wait for REIFlow to pull these leads into you and create the appropriate records in the leads, the properties, the details, and the contacts app for each one of these. Now I'm going to pause the video and wait for these records to start being imported. And when that starts happening, I will turn the video back on and continue. We're back. Now, in reality, that was about 2-3 minutes. So we were on closer to the end of the 10-minute cycle before the leads started getting pulled in. And as you can see, we have the first about 8 leads being pulled in. If I refresh this, we'll probably have a few more. So now we're up to 21, so 5 more have been pulled in since I just started the video. It doesn't happen real quick, but that's because it creates multiple records, so it properly places the items in your REIFlow system. So let's take a look at one of these records, say 709 Brook Hollow Drive. So you can see it created the lead record, as well as a property record and a contact record. So let's look at the contact. In our import file, we only had the first name and last name. You probably have an email address or phone number in there. You can include a mailing address, and these get defaulted to type of property and who is this, the owner. Now let's go back and look at the property record. Okay, so here's your property record. You put the address in there. You got the map for this. You created a detail record here. And click in there. So now just pulled the Bing aerial shot, and there's the property right there, the location. An overhead shot. Here's the street view of this. Here's the full breakdown, the geocoded address plus the longitude and latitude, and it also determined which county this lead was in. This is Zillow information, so it's pulled in the multifamily 2 to 4, which is not correct, but Zillow's probably wrong there. 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. We entered this through the Excel lead. And that's about it for the information. So we go back to here, and nothing else was entered in with the lead. So I mean, that shows you how it works. All the leads you enter in will get a map, and the Zillow information will be pulled in. Oh, and the last piece of information, the marketing source we included was website. One thing you have to realize is when you are importing into a category field like this one, the value in that field has to match one of these values. If it does not, the lead will not get imported into the system and may cause an error. So just double check that, make sure, case matters, and make sure it's not plural when it's singular. Like, don't make it websites, make it website. So that's how it works. It's pretty cool. It works very well. I have no problems. There's duplicate protection. So if you already have a 708 Brook Hollow Drive, Whippany, New Jersey 07981 in the system, It will not add that into the system. It will actually update the existing record in the system. So in total we had 40 in that file. Let's see how far along it is. We are at 48. I had about 8 leads in the system already. So the whole file should be in. And that wasn't that bad. It took about 10 minutes for everything to get in. Conceivably, it could take you up to 48 hours, depending on how many people are trying to upload leads, import them into the system, and how many leads that you have. For a test scenario, I tried to import 5,000 leads, and it was just those leads, and in total it probably took about 5 hours to do. Sounds like a long time, but if you set it overnight, wake up in the morning, they'll all be in. This process may get sped up as Podio allows me to gain more actions for creating items into the system. I've asked them to do that, and hopefully that they'll grant me this. If not, I'll ask them again later on, but for now, that's the handicap. I have to throttle the leads that get imported into the system, but I think I've come up with a great solution, and it'll definitely make your life easier importing. And one more thing I like to add is you can add multiple import fields or adjust the ones that you do have. If I were to adjust this, it will delete this import app and recreate it. So if for some reason, if you are keeping track of leads and keeping them into this import app, I would not recreate an app that already exists and has leads in it. If you don't care, just modify it and recreate it, and then it'll create a brand new app with no leads in it already. But you can also create multiple import apps depending on the type. So if you have probate imports, you have out-of-state owners, different lists that you need to import into the system, you can create different apps for each one of those lists, and it'll all work the same in the back end. Once you've imported those leads into that import app, REIFlow will take over from there and then create those records in REIFlow at 150 at a time. Again, have any questions, please leave a comment below or send an email to support@reiflow.com. Thank you.